So, as you all know, I love the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins, both the books and the movies. Even though there are huge differences in the book to movie adaptation, I think they did a pretty solid job. Now, one of the things that I love about this series and about the movies is that Suzanne Collins, as an author, really works to get us to understand the role that propaganda plays in the world of the Hunger Games and in our lives. You know, you've heard the story probably countless times that the way that she came up with this book idea, which has gone on to sell over 100 million copies, has become internationally acclaimed, is she was flipping through the channels and she saw a reality TV show filled with excess, and then on the next channel she saw footage of the Iraq War filled with despair. And she thought, how can these two things that are both happening in real time exist in such proximity to each other? And it sparked the idea for this book series. In the third book of the book series, which I hope you've read by now, and I hope this isn't a spoiler, but if you have not read it yet, this might be a spoiler. One of the things that Katniss represents is a symbol for the rebellion against the Capitol. Part of being the Mockingjay, this symbol for rebellion, is that she has to appear in what are called propos. Propos is the shorthand for propaganda short films, which are meant to influence, in this case positively, people in the districts to fight back against their oppressors. But as we know, propaganda is often used in many other ways that are not positive. And I think she so smartly, by implicating the sort of more progressive side of the books in this, is trying to show that power corrupts at every level. And while I do think that it was actually a really good strategy to recruit for the rebellion within the world of these novels, I think the whole point of having, President Alma Coin being named Coin was to show that both sides of the coin are the same type of person. President Snow and Alma Coin are essentially just both extremes of the same type of power-hungry, greedy, corruptive force. And her message is, very clearly like power to the people, like unionize, like we're stronger when we were together, collectivity, collectivism, taking care of one another, cooking for one another, healing one another, helping one another, solidarity, support. And the Capitol is like constantly individualism, like trying to get only one victor to win, only one person gets to be rich, only one person gets to be happy, and everyone else has to suffer. So it's a classic like individualism versus collectivism. But the question that I wanted to ask you is, when you think about the propos in Mockingjay, the third book in the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins, what are other examples in your daily life that you've seen of this? Whether it be things that were used ultimately for good or things that were not. We can think of historical examples, but I also want to think of just being more cognizant of the way that we are being influenced, how that influence encourages and directs specific action.